Spiritual Teaching 187. Love each other. 1. Come sit on the table of the Divine Master to eat the bread of eternal life. The angels have prepared the feast, and the Father welcomes everyone. Eat and drink, and learn to appreciate this nourishment. Do not imitate those who sit at my table to eat and drink, and then depart without ever realizing who was with them. 2. The bread that I have come to offer you today is the same one that I brought you in the second era. Seek the essence in both, and you will discover that each contains my divine love. 3. I have come to save you as I did in the second era. I say to those who want to follow me, take your cross and follow my footsteps. The cross is one of humility, love, charity, renunciation, and sacrifice. Whoever takes his cross knows the path that he will need to follow. I have never deceived anyone by telling him that my path is filled with roses, because I want my soldiers to follow me through love and faith. 4. I know that, after revealing the truth of my doctrine to my children, those who will follow me will be faithful and sincere in each of their deeds. There will not be any paid servants among my faithful servants, only hard-working disciples and unselfish followers. 5. If someone uses this divine work for a selfish and unrighteous purpose, he is a traitor and his conscience would be his own judge. 6. You have a painful and sad example of one of my disciples from the second era. You must avoid his mistakes and attempt not to imitate him. After having been my faithful child, it would be unjust for someone to depart attempting to conceal his stained spirit, as Judas did when he left my disciples and me. Judas realized that he was unworthy of remaining among those who were going to sacrifice their lives offering testimony of the truth as revealed by the Divine Master. Those who followed me during that period did so because of the love for my cause. Today, I also want those who pursue my doctrine to follow me, but not to be motivated by selfish interests, nor a fear of my justice. I want you to be inspired by love for your brethren, because then you would truly be loving your Divine Father and fulfilling His will. 7. If I wanted to convince you through fear, I would order the elements of nature to become unleashed, and thus I would demonstrate to humanity that I am the only one who is truly powerful. However, I want each one of you to achieve merits through your humility, faith, and love. 8. This is a new era, and therefore you are receiving new teachings. Although humanity expects the events from the past to be repeated in this era, they will not be repeated. If I allowed that to happen, it would be as if time had stood still and humanity would be repeating the same lesson. 9. I have named you soldiers of Jesus, entrusting you with my cause. Analyze my doctrine carefully so that you will be certain of its truth. If you do not, you may lose interest in my doctrine with the passage of time. Theologians would then surprise you with their questions. Although there are no mysteries in my doctrine, the Father has opened His sanctuary before your spirit, allowing you to truly know Him. What purpose would it serve if I came before you with mysteries? Would you be able to refer to those mysteries as revelations? 10. I promised that the Spirit of truth would come to clarify my previous teachings. Today I say to you that through this word I have come to give you everything that corresponds to this period. 11. Be my disciple, and listen attentively to my teachings. Analyze them carefully, and then practice them. 12. My beloved children, you recognize me through my word, and I will recognize you through your deeds. 13. You will understand my teaching better when you get together to study it. My teaching is extensive and contains great spiritual enlightenment, because it is the love of the Father that is manifested in this word. This is why you have to make a strong effort to become a good student. 14. Earth is a desert, and I am the oasis. You are thirsty travelers who have summoned me, thirsting for love and justice. I have given you my word, which is nourishment, and purifying water for your spirit. This nourishment has always strengthened your spirit in its long and tiresome journey. 15. When the time comes, you too will become an oasis that will offer shade, water, and freshness to the weary travelers. You will be able to heal those who suffer, because I am converting you into one who will be able to heal. 16. This is the era of enlightenment, and all beings possess it. That enlightenment will allow man to comprehend that he possesses an atom of my divinity, his spirit. Guided by his conscience and spiritual intelligence, man will attain peace. 17. Man would be able to avoid his painful restitution and to attain high wisdom if he utilized his spiritual gifts. 18. Throughout the eras, I have observed that many of my children have renounced the material pleasures offered by the world. They have followed the path of my law to set an example for others to follow. Those beings who once dwelt on earth and who came to bring their message of love and comfort, now dwell in the spiritual valley where they enjoy true peace. 19. I am not asking for you to dedicate all of your time to me, because there are other duties and responsibilities that you need to fulfill on earth. However, it is important for you to realize that the material body that you love so much is nothing more than a cloak or outer covering for your spirit where all passions originate. 20. You have permitted your material body to become tempted and stained. When you fail to pray and to remain spiritually alert, your mind begins to create temptations. 21. I know that while you live on earth, your heart and your senses yearn for material things. But you should reject those things that are useless, harmful, and foolish. I am not asking you to confine yourself to a monastery and to renounce the world and your relationship to others. If you were to do that, you would have misunderstood what I have asked you to do. Do not aspire to be a Puritan, forgetting that you are also subject to the laws of nature. 22. Fulfill the laws set forth by the Lord. Some pertain to the spirit and others to the material body. I only ask for you to renounce vanity, hypocrisy, and things that are useless in your spiritual growth. 23. O beloved disciples, who attentively listen to the teachings of the Divine Master, behold how my word awakens the spiritual gifts that were dormant within you. 24. These are the final moments of my manifestation through human spokesmen. These are precious moments, because after my departure you will remember these moments and will say, the Lord granted us so much grace. 25. Beloved disciples, be careful not to fall into temptation. Do not judge those things that you are not supposed to judge. Practice spirituality in your life. I know that your struggle is difficult and that doing the right thing is sometimes hard and difficult. That is why I am first teaching you to love and to practice forgiveness with your family, so that in the future I can send you among humanity. 26. Do not become weary, because the work of the Spirit will never finish. If presently your work seems to be a restitution or a punishment, it will be perceived as a reward once your spirit becomes elevated. Your spirit will never become weary of loving and sowing goodness. 27. Blessed is the human heart that prepares itself, because it is similar to a rose that gives off its beautiful fragrance. Blessed is the individual who elevates his thoughts to me, for he will perceive beautiful spiritual things. The one who knows how to elevate his spirit will perform great deeds, making the world a better place to live. 28. I have come to prepare you so that you will arise to create a world where goodness will reign. The sins of mankind during this era have contributed to the disappearance of spiritual love, the most noble and divine thing that exists in the human heart. 29. Do not seek personal comfort or a secure future. Be content with your life. What do you want or expect from this world? You have already experienced glory, pleasure, and praise. Although some have all the material wealth they desire, they still do not practice good deeds. 30. Ask yourself if you have been just with yourself. You are intelligent, able to reason, and possess free will. You are listening to my word. Thus, you cannot call yourself ignorant. You have learned to seek me in the infinite, where forms do not exist. 31. I am within you. Why do men always seek me in the heavens? I say to you that I am beyond the heavens. Seek me with humility and respect, and I will allow you to penetrate deeply into my wisdom. Has anyone been able to truly penetrate into my wisdom to discover the true power of God? No one, because no one knows what path to follow to ascend toward God. They have not listened to the voice of their conscience. 32. Man does not yet truly know Earth, his own home, because nature still has many surprises for him. Also, there are many planets that are similar to Earth. If man is not yet familiar with the material things that I have created, which represents only part of my work, how can he pretend to know me through his science? 33. I am speaking to the Spirit, because one day it will journey through the path that will guide it to me, perceiving my divine splendor. 34. Be humble with the knowledge that you are acquiring. Live in peace and harmony. 35. You ask that I pour my grace upon you, because your spirit is nourished with my word. Occasionally, you stumble along your journey through life, leaving a bitter taste in your mouth. Thus, I have come to offer you my tenderness, to caress you with my word, and to quench your thirst with my love. However, there are many more individuals who still seek my love and tenderness. I have given you my revelations so that you can help them and share my teachings with them. 36. You will become one of my teachers, but you must first carry my teachings in your heart. You are not yet prepared. If the Divine Master were to presently summon the most loving individual to occupy his place and to speak in his name, that individual would feel incapable and afraid to talk. 37. Soon after my manifestation ceases in 1950, you will need to become a teacher and speak in the same manner that the Divine Master spoke. You will need to overcome your fear and to utilize my strength in order to fulfill your mission. I will no longer manifest myself through human spokesmen. You will need to pray, have faith, and listen to your conscience to receive my inspiration. 38. You will teach humanity how it can help you with its thoughts, elevation, and preparation. Be careful so that your words will be divinely inspired. 39. Behold how things will change and everything will be simplified. This will enable humanity to comprehend things more clearly. Man wants to understand everything. He no longer wants to exhaust his mind trying to interpret teachings that he feels are not clear. I have made my word easier to comprehend during the final days of my manifestation so that you will not misinterpret it. 40. During the Second Era, the Divine Master also explained his doctrine more clearly during his final days, because those last teachings explained his earlier teachings. 41. I say to you, I want each of your deeds to always reflect the truth, because the doctrine that I have is like water that is pure and clear. It should not confuse your brethren, because everything in my doctrine is explained and is justified. You should teach your brethren with confidence and faith, so that those who have deceived their brethren with false teachings will recognize their mistakes. Thus, those who serve me will be the ones who are well prepared and have good intentions. They will offer my truth, my peace, and my charity to humanity. Truly I tell you that the bad weeds will be removed from the fertile fields. Only in this manner will humanity get to know the true doctrine of the Holy Spirit. 42. My disciples are spread throughout the world. Anyone who lives a spiritual life and worships God spiritually is a spiritualist. 43. Religions will become united once humanity eliminates its materialism. traditions, prejudice, and fanaticism. Eventually, men will unite spiritually and will all worship in the same manner. They will become virtuous, loving God and one another. Once that occurs, humanity will enter into a period of perfection. That is why I ask you to demonstrate my doctrine through virtuous and pure deeds. Do not be concerned with not being able to perceive the fulfillment of what I have revealed. However, you will feel joy knowing that what you sowed contributed and helped to establish a kingdom of peace. The seeds that you are now sowing will blossom in the hearts of future generations. 44. Those who will sow in my fields need to prepare themselves because the fields are now ready to receive the seed of my doctrine. 45. The day is not far when you will observe multitudes coming to seek you. They will journey across the oceans in pursuit of what the Divine Master has left for them. This continent will welcome them with brotherhood and peace. Mankind will become unified because all customs and beliefs will become united, bringing a true and everlasting peace. A new world will emerge. Today the world is preparing itself. The great battle that is now occurring will continue for a while longer, because the ideas of today cannot be erased in a single moment. A passage of time between the world of today and the world of tomorrow is necessary so that the new world will triumph. 46. You are now living in the most difficult time of the struggle. That is why I have come to guide you so that you may be able to perceive the world of tomorrow. I give you the strength that you need to achieve your mission, and I bless humanity. 47. I bless you because you are seeking to increase your knowledge of spiritual and divine things. Also, you now seek to understand things spiritually. However, you will not be able to fully comprehend my teachings until you remove the blindfold which covers your eyes. 48. Man is responsible for his spiritual backwardness because, although I have endowed him with a conscience and the ability to reason, he makes no effort to elevate himself. He ignores his spiritual growth, seeking pleasures of the flesh. He sacrifices his spirit and becomes spiritually ill. He is like a paralyzed person, showing no interest in elevating his spirit. 49. My teachings and my sacrifice have been of little value. After so many centuries, I sadly observe that the blind are still leading the blind, and the spiritually weak are attempting to motivate others who are not in the spiritual path. I observe that the majority of men are fragile and weak because they do not follow my teachings. They allow low passions to dominate them and to dwell in their hearts, eventually harming them. 50. I have endowed you with great attributes, although you have failed to use them wisely. I have granted your spirit intelligence and free will, enabling you to be responsible for your deeds and your life. Those attributes will help you to triumph in the struggle between your flesh and your spirit. Once you have triumphed, you will become prophets and men of goodwill, prepared to guide the multitudes. You will no longer be afraid to engage in other struggles because you will have triumphed over yourself. You will feel strong, and you will love and respect your brethren. Even the animals of earth, which are your smaller brethren, will become your friends. 51. Do not assume that the prophets from the past eras, who attained freedom and who you think achieved greatness, were strong and spiritually elevated because that was their destiny. They achieved spiritual strength and elevation because in their hearts they constructed a true temple of love and peace after their struggles. Those who make a greater effort to seek the truth are susceptible to making errors. But because of their spiritual elevation, they are able to distinguish good from evil and to reject things that are unvirtuous. Using their spiritual enlightenment, they are able to triumph over their struggles. 52. That spark of life that exists within you, that spiritual enlightenment, originates from my divine spirit and is possessed by every individual. Man has rejected this divine treasure because he fails to comprehend its importance. Although he has been endowed with great attributes to become immortal, he rejects them. Instead, he chooses the path of self-satisfaction and becomes spiritually weak. I allow him to feel and to recognize the consequences of his mistakes. Thus, through his own effort and experience, he will regain his dignity and seek spiritual fulfillment and happiness, rejecting temporary pleasures forever. 53. What does one need to do to always live within my laws? One needs to be my true disciple, utilizing his strength and energy to triumph over the negativity that has invaded the world. 54. I want you to understand my truth and to realize that God does not have any mysteries or secrets. If you prepare yourself during this period, you can offer true worship to God. Although you say that you practice my law and that you believe in me, your deeds reflect the opposite. Today, you are becoming familiar with my will and my mandates, but the day will come when you will be spiritually prepared. When that day arrives, I will communicate with you from spirit to spirit. Also, I will have a spiritual relationship with man, which will bring peace on earth. 55. When that moment arrives, you will acknowledge me as your only Lord, and you will begin to truly love one another. But if you want to become my true disciple today, it is not necessary for you to depart from earth to feel strong and pure. On earth you will perceive the fulfillment of my promises, for they will be fulfilled. 56. The table has been set. Thus, take a seat and allow me to serve and guide you. Eat the bread of truth with me. Enlighten yourself spiritually with the light emitted by love, praising God with your songs of love. 57. Listen to the beautiful harmony. Your songs of love are heard in the heavens, as angels sing with you. 58. Give me your sorrows and your grief. 59. Just as you are with me today, I want humanity to also come before me. I await each of my children. Practice purity wherever you go so that your brethren will know the fruits of my doctrine. Thus, they will not have any reason to criticize it. 60. You are listening more to my divine word with your conscience than with your ears. I am giving you my teachings so that tomorrow you will become teachers. However, it is first necessary to become familiar with the essence of my teaching. Its essence is love. I say to you that it is not only necessary for you to know its essence, but you must also love and practice deeds of love with your brethren. How can you speak of charity if you do not practice it with those who need your assistance? 61. If I repeat the word love frequently in my teachings, it is because I truly love you. 62. My disciples, I have said to you that tomorrow you will become teachers when you learn to love your brethren. Behold that my word, similar to a fine chisel, is gradually molding and preparing you. It is awakening your mind, heart, and conscience and enlightening you. 63. I am speaking to the physical part of your being, so that it can follow the conscience. Man's journey through earth is truly guided by his conscience, which offers him strength and spiritual enlightenment. 64. Today, I observe that man is no longer progressing along his spiritual path. Instead, he is now journeying through the paths of science, power, and human passions. If man had not become detained along his path of spiritual evolution, one of love, virtue, and truth, do you think there would be wars on earth today? 65. The era of spirituality has arrived. If man continues to refuse to perceive my enlightenment, he will become confused. Although nature offers divine manifestations to mankind, he also does not comprehend them. 66. Do not fulfill your mission only because you feel that it is mandatory or because you fear my justice. Your deeds of love are insignificant unless you do them through your own free will. Be aware that you will need to come before me through your own merits. You have already experienced the material pleasures of the world, causing your spirit to become weak and disgraced. Do not become confused, believing that I have come to prohibit deeds that are virtuous and just, for those are the deeds that you need to practice on earth. 67. I love all of my children equally, and I do not distinguish between races. However, as long as man does not acknowledge one another spiritually, he will continue to believe that he is superior to his brethren, and both war and conflict will continue to occur on earth. 68. All men will eventually listen to the universal language of my word, whose essence is love. It will bring unity among men and with their Father. 69. Awaken, O my people, because your struggle will begin after 1950. After this manifestation comes to an end, you, your children, and your grandchildren will make my doctrine unforgettable in the hearts of humanity. My peace be with you.